They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Let's be honest, most lawsuits come and go, a headline here, soundbite there, then it disappears. But this one just won't go away, because this isn't just any legal drama. This is Karoline Leavitt, young conservative powerhouse, standing her ground against one of the most powerful shows in daytime television, The View, and now it's turning into something way bigger than anyone could have imagined. See Whoopi Goldberg and her co-host thought. Karoline would back off they thought she'd be. Scared by the pressure, the attention, the media noise, maybe even agreed to settle quietly and move on. But Karoline didn't just say no, she said, "We are moving forward as planned now." Whoopi, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hust are scrambling to contain the mess. ABC is panicking behind the scenes. Lawyers are getting pulled into emergency calls at all hours. And the internet, it's absolutely on fire.
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
And all of it could have been avoided if they hadn't mocked Karoline Leavitt in the first place. This isn't just a scandal. It's a full-blown media war, so buckle up. Because what happens next might just be the biggest takedown in daytime TV history. Smash that like button if you're here for justice. And hit subscribe if you're tired of media elites thinking they can say anything and get away with it. Did you just subscribe? Awesome, let's dive in it. All started with laughter Karoline Leavitt showed up on The View, ready to speak her truth. But instead of being heard, she was mocked, dismissed, and targeted right there on national television. Joy Behar rolled her eyes and cracked a joke. Whoopi called her rise a result of wokeness. Sunny said she was a product of privilege. The whole panel acted like they were roasting a comedian, not questioning a serious political figure. But here's the twist. They didn't know Karoline was recording at all, not on her phone, not on a mic, but in her mind, every jab, every sarcastic clap, every shady cut to the audience. It wasn't forgotten. It was being noted, and Karoline didn't storm off. She didn't shout back. She smiled, politely answered questions. But the moment she walked off that stage, she was done playing nice over the next few days. She said nothing, but her lawyers, they were already building the case.
These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
While The View was busy airing another round of snark and spin, Karoline's team was collecting clips, saving transcripts, and reviewing behind-scenes communication. They got internal memos, segment notes, even leaked Slack messages from the producers. One message said, "Let Joy go in first, she'll rattle her early." Another mentioned Trump midway. See if she cracks. This wasn't debate. This was a takedown in Karoline. She wasn't going to let slide at first. ABC thought the lawsuit was harmless, just another round of media noise that would fade by the weekend. But when they saw what Karolina's team submitted to the court, they went pale. The lawsuit was huge. Over 100 pages long, cited video clips, screenshots, audio logs, timestamp notes, quotes from the show's own producer, statements from insiders, the accusations. Character assassination, public humiliation, strategic media, bullying. One senior exec reportedly muttered, "This is bad, really bad." Meetings were called, lawyers flew, and phones were silenced.
I have to stop you with the camera because I can see you. So do me a favor, don't pull it out again. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
PR teams drafted multiple statements, but none were approved. Why? Because anything they said could be used against them. It got worse. Karoline's lawyers hadn't even started discovery yet. That's the part where both sides must turn over everything: emails, texts, group chat logs, planning documents, even rehearsal scripts. One internal memo had a section titled, "How to Throw Karoline Off Script." Executives freaked. They asked producers to recall what was said during the pre-show meeting. One assistant producer allegedly told HR, "I thought it was just for drama. I didn't know it was a setup." Yikes. Whoopi Goldberg has always been a queen bee of The View, loud, confident, and completely unbothered. She's made a career out of pushing boundaries and saying what everyone else was too scared to say. But the moment she found out that ABC might be thinking about settling the lawsuit with Karoline Leavitt, boom, she exploded.
Democrats in the media are now unloading all their nasty attacks on rising Trump White House star and new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. Watch this.
Multiple sources say the moment she walked into the emergency meeting, the entire room felt the shift. Hair, half-done makeup towel still in hand. Whoopi didn't even wait to sit down. She slammed her coffee mug on the table so hard it splashed and pointed directly at the executives. "Oh, we're going to look weak. Are we seriously negotiating?" With her, the room froze. No one dared to respond right away. She wasn't just mad. She was furious. To her, this wasn't about money. This was about pride, about power, about legacy. We survived controversy. We survived presidents. We survived Twitter mobs. And now we're folding to her. Joy Behar wasn't far behind. She threw her glasses onto the table and practically yelled, We kept this show alive for decades. We pulled this network through election scandals, everything. And one conservative walks in, and suddenly, with a villain's attention, the room was electric, pacing, shouting frustration, spilling over. But then quietly, calmly, Sunny Hostin cleared her throat. All eyes turned to her. She had barely said a word since the lawsuit began, but when she finally did, it was the only sentence that mattered. If we go to court and we lose, we're not just losing our jobs, we're losing our credibility. It landed like a brick. The shouting stopped, the pacing froze even. Whoopi leaned back in her chair, lips pressed tight, eyes narrowing. Because Sunny wasn't being dramatic, she was being brutally honest. She had read the case, she had seen the emails, she had looked through the footage Karoline's team had gathered, and deep down she knew if this case went public, everything they tried to keep behind the scenes would be exposed, and credibility, that's something you can't buy.
Likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American people.
The next morning, The View didn't feel like The View. The hosts looked different, not in their makeup or their hair, but in their eyes. The fire was gone. The sass had vanished. They looked nervous. The intro music played, but the vibe was off. Whoopi sat unusually still, hands clasped in front of her, no smirk on her face, no jokes waiting on the tip of her tongue. She looked into the camera and spoke slowly. We want to have honest conversations, but we also want to be fair, and maybe we weren't you. Could almost hear the control room holding its breath. Then Joy Behar, usually the first to laugh or clap back, spoke in a quiet, shaky tone. We're passionate, but that passion shouldn't hurt people. Maybe we went too far. Sunny Hostin leaned forward. Her voice was calm, but her face said it all. She looked exhausted. Karoline, if you're watching, we hope there's a way forward, a better way to handle this. It was a moment that felt scripted, but also very, very real.
For me, and sort of lived lives of dreams deferred and poured everything in me, and just my life, how I transitioned from college. I went to college when I was 16, high school when I was 12, the struggle of that, and my career as a federal prosecutor, and then how I found my...
No zingers, no sarcasm, just an awkward, heavy silence. They weren't trying to win anymore. They were trying to survive the once unstoppable panel. A strong, sharp Tanj. Women looked scared. And Karoline, she didn't say a word. Her team released a single sentence, no changes. We are proceeding as planned. The apology tour didn't work. The host's attempt to soften their image backfired. Because of the public, it didn't feel sincere, felt like fear. And Karoline, she didn't need to clap. Back The View had just made her case for her. Joy followed nervously, laughing. We're all human. Maybe we let things go too far. Then Sunny, clearly uncomfortable, looked into the lens and said, Karoline, if you're listening, let's talk. It was awkward, tense, clearly scripted, but Karoline wasn't buying. Her lawyers issued a one-line response. The lawsuit remains active. We are not seeking settlement. Boom, game over.
Attacking a woman for her looks or age isn't very progressive. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Kosha, particularly that last clip that we played, it was so condescending. The way that she was scolding her as if she was a schoolgirl, suggesting she needed to do her homework. I find it so hypocritical when these so-called, caring, progressive voices just turn so nasty like that.
Yes, and as you mentioned, with conservative women, there's a long list of that, both of Trump's previous press secretaries, females, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, other figures like his campaign manager the first time, Kellyanne Conway, Sarah Palin very famously had to bear the brunt of a lot of this. So people are used to that. I think in their bubble of the audience that The View speaks to, that's probably kind of what the groupthink is. So one defense, I guess, is that she was speaking to her audience, but you take it outside of that bubble the way you are right now, and we all can see.
The internet didn't just react, it exploded like fireworks on New Year's Eve within seconds of the episode, airing. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Every major platform was flooded with reactions. People were screen recording live, posting clips, editing side by sides. A moment where The View's host mock Karoline was now being spliced with their desperate on-air apology. Just days later, the contrast jaw-dropping, a popular tick. Talk creator posted a side-by-side titled, The View Begs for Mercy. Karoline says nope. It gained over 2 million views in 12 hours, with tens of thousands of comments pouring in from both Karoline supporters and former fans of the show who felt betrayed. People were reposting clips with savage captions. When a bully starts crying after the punchback, remember, when this was funny, not anymore. And the hashtags trending worldwide read Karoline wins. If you want to run 800 million MC drop receipts, don't leave with talk. Show takedown the memes came fast, and they were merciless. One meme showed Whoopi peeking nervously over a stack of cue cards labeled "We Didn't Mean It," while Karoline stood behind her holding a fiery folder labeled "Lawsuit." Another had Joy Behar photoshopped into a courtroom sketch, nervously sweating as a judge slammed a gavel labeled "Accountability." One creator animated a view set as a sinking ship with Whoopi and Sonny desperately bailing water, while Karoline calmly watched from a lifeboat labeled 8. 100 MK's even stand-up comedians began working it into their routines, or the view said it was just banner. Karoline said, "Cool, tell it to the judge." Podcasters and YouTube commentary channels spent entire episodes breaking down the story. Some dug into past episodes, highlighting a pattern of mockery and bias on the show. Others speculated that Karoline's stand could inspire more lawsuits and possibly a whole new chapter in media accountability. And in the middle of all this, but Karoline stayed completely silent. No tweets, no interviews, not even a reaction post. She let the internet speak for her, and speak it did.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit, and well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Pregnant. Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this, again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job.
After all this pressure, many expected Karoline to finally settle, maybe walk away with a quiet deal, cash a check, and call a win. But Karoline Leavitt had other plans. Her team issued a bold, crystal-clear statement. This lawsuit is not about attention. It's about principle. We are not negotiating. We are not settling. We are moving forward. And that wasn't just talk. Insiders close to the case revealed that Karoline's team had expanded their investigation. They weren't just focused on one episode anymore. They were going back months, maybe even years, reviewing full seasons of The View, cataloging moments of bias, indexing personal attacks made against conservative guests, interviewing former producers, compiling footage, social media posts, even backstage whispers caught on hot mics. They're building something massive, not just a legal case, but a full media accountability campaign. And the goal, not money change. Karoline is standing firm, not because she's angry, but because she wants the media to finally understand there are consequences. This isn't just about her. This is about every guest who's ever been laughed at, interrupted, dismissed, or publicly dragged on TV just for having a different opinion. And with every day that passes, her message gets stronger. I'm not backing down. And more people are standing with her.